Hey everybody, welcome back once again for another video. Today's video I want to go over another little kind of hot topic discussion surrounding Season 5 of Stranger Things. If you kept up with the show, Eddie Munson was killed last season and it really left a hole there. People really grew attached to that character, and even though we saw him die and there was a whole emotional death scene with Dustin, we were all kind of hoping that somehow or another he would make a return in this 5th season. And they've really kind of hinted at it with pictures from the set, leaked pictures or official, that either way his memory was kept alive. And I guess with one of these latest pictures coming out in the Duffer Brothers Instagram story or whatever, that they're kind of pointing more in that direction, that in some fashion or another they're going to keep his memory alive. And it's with this first pic I'm going to show you. We have a sign, which is obviously probably on Screen Gem lot, where it says Hellfire Away, and it has arrows pointing forward. So it's with this little tease. What are they trying to say? Are they saying in some way that they're going to bring Eddie back? And I'm going to kind of discuss the possibilities, but very unlikely that they're going to do that. But I think it's more in the sense that in some way that they're going to keep his memory alive, and Dustin's going to be a big part of that. But with that said, I think the direction that they're going to go, aside from any kind of resurrection or anything like that, bringing Eddie back to life, is that we're possibly going to see him as some sort of hallucination seen by Dustin, whether it be full-blown grief-ridden hallucination or kind of a comforting, helping him move on, helping him mourn Eddie's death, getting past everything while hell is breaking loose around him. And I think that's probably the best emotional way they could do it, where he's not actually alive. We know that he's dead, but we also don't know when someone dies in the Upside Down, what happens to them. I mean, you could go the spiritual route and that they can't cross over or something, or some other possibility or whatever is in place, being that it's not in the reality that he originates from. So there's a lot of different directions they could go with that, but more than likely he died over there and he's just dead. There's just no really coming back from that. And a couple of other possible popular scenarios where we could see Eddie again is that aside from being a hallucination with Dustin, maybe he is brought on by Vecna to be kind of a torturing hallucination for Dustin or for the people that saw him die. Mostly Dustin, because he was there at the moment of his death. But Vecna brings him on as a hallucination, much like he did with Billy in the last season, just to torture Max, but in turn torture Dustin, and really feeding on his grief that he lost one of his best friends and someone he really cared about. So that's one of the other possibilities. And the third one that I'm thinking that's probably far less likely, but is still a possibility, I think, because he's such a fan favorite, is that they could bring him back, physically bring him back, and his body is more or less possessed by a force of Vecna, using him as a soldier in his army to bring about the end within Hawkins and the rest of the world. And maybe after some large battle, or after it's all said and done, and they're able to sever the link between Upside Down and their world, that it cuts that link in Eddie and he's brought back to life. That's the one that's pretty far less likely. I could see them really going the hallucination route. That just makes the most sense. More so, we have a couple other pictures that are floating around out there. I'll post those up too. But in this first one, we just have Dustin. He's on set and he's at the grave of Eddie. And not only that, aside from the grave being vandalized by the townspeople that more than likely still see him as a villain, we see Dustin, he's in a Hellfire shirt, he's really keeping his memory alive, and also he's sporting a couple of rings, and he's really kind of taking on Eddie's persona. But with that said too, this Hellfire Away picture that we got, it could just be simply that Dustin has taken the role of Eddie within their Hellfire Club to keep it alive and really taken on that leadership. And more than likely, at the same time, he's dealing with a lot of ridicule with the townspeople because they still see that as kind of a satanic cult or whatever that Eddie was in charge of, that he founded and he brainwashed these people and whatever else they have to say about him. So there's several different directions I think they could go in the sense of bringing Eddie back in one way or another. But I guess my overall opinion is it would kind of cheapen his death if they did bring him back completely. I could see them possibly using him as a hallucination to help Dustin move on, or I could see them using him as a hallucination to torture him too. Those are the two more likely of the scenarios. But as far as bringing him back, making him live again, probably not going to happen because it would cheapen the death and the emotion behind his death. But that was just the quick little video I wanted to do, kind of discussing this, what we could possibly see, just some fan theory about Season 5 of Stranger Things regarding Eddie and what direction they're going to go with all of it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below, leave comments, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. So until next time, guys, I will see you later. Take care. Bye.